Hey, it's Dave here, and in this video we are going to talk about all the main causes of constipation, and we're going to unpack all of these causes individually in later videos in the series. So, in my experience, most symptoms in the body, irrespective of whether they're related to the digestive system or anything else, are caused by a combination of something in excess and something in deficiency. Could be caused by an excess or a deficiency or a little bit of both. So when it comes to constipation, we're talking about things like bad foods. Sometimes people stop eating certain foods in the diet and the constipation goes away. Sometimes it's due to bad bugs. So you could have chronic infections in the digestive system like H. pylori, for example. You could have yeast and fungal overgrowth, you could have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or parasites, and they can cause constipation as well. The toxins that are being produced by some of these bad bugs, and also the toxins that you might be taking in your food, if it's commercially raised food, if it's got lots of pesticides in it, if it's got lots of additives and preservatives and things like that. In some people, they can be really irritating to the digestive system, and they can contribute to constipation as well. And sometimes we have too many bad hormones. Now that's a difficult one to unpack. What I'm really getting at with this is if you have hormonal imbalances, low thyroid hormone, excessive amounts of estrogen, excessive amounts of cortisol, adrenaline, things like that, what you can find is that sometimes the hormonal communication in the digestive system also gives rise to constipation. It can go the other way and cause diarrhea in some people as well, but it can certainly contribute to constipation. And sometimes, the bad bugs can really have an influence on the hormones. The hormones and the bugs are very interdependent. Some of these bugs produce hormones that can affect the function of the GI tract, and our own endogenous production of some of these hormones can also influence the levels of the bugs in the digestive system as well, not just the bad bugs, but also the good bugs as well. So it's some kind of excess in this stuff, right? And that's really something that we need to address and take very seriously because, as I've said before, constipation's not a laxative deficiency. You're not deficient in laxative drugs if you're constipated. There's something going on to cause the constipation. Now, in terms of the deficiencies, we might have a lack of the foods that we need to run our digestive system optimally. Things like fiber, for example, whole, natural foods that are clean and don't contain lots of pesticides and things like that. We can also have a lack of good bugs. We can have what they call a microbiome deficiency, and that can affect whether our bowels move properly as well. We can be lacking certain nutrients in the body, and so some people have constipation that clears up quite quickly when they take things like magnesium, vitamin B12, sometimes folate, sometimes potassium, depending on the individual's nutrient status. Some of those nutrients can be really, really helpful in resolving the constipation. The good hormones, where we need to have optimal levels of thyroid hormone, we need to have optimal levels of our sex hormones, optimal levels of stress hormones, not too many and not too few. All of that can play into constipation as well. And then finally, a lack of or a deficiency in digestive secretions. Are we producing enough stomach acid? Do we have enough pancreatic output in terms of our enzymes and all the things that come out with the pancreatic juices to help digest our food? Does the liver produce enough bile, and does the gallbladder store that bile effectively and then squirt it out into the intestine to help us digest our food? These can also be important factors as well. So I can pretty much guarantee that nearly everybody's constipation has some kind of imbalance going on with these factors. The key is to try and figure out which factors are responsible in your individual case, because from one person to another, the pattern might be completely different. Person A might just need to avoid a couple of foods and the constipation goes away. Person B might have changed their diet 100 times, but they're still constipated. No matter what they do with their diet, nothing changes, in which case it could be, bad bugs or a deficiency in the good bugs or low digestive secretions, etc., etc. And so some of the cases can be really simple, and and some of the cases need a little bit more investigation. I don't know where you stand on that scale, because you're a unique individual and your constipation or irritable bowel syndrome or whatever symptoms that you're having in your digestive system, the underlying cause is unique to you. Now, the good news is that there's no reason why you can't investigate what these causes and reasons are. You can do it at home. You can use what we call functional laboratory testing to check a lot of these parameters out. You can do that in a very specific and informed sequence, the ones that typically bring the greatest level of results and the greatest level of information first, and the ones that typically cause most of the problems with constipation. So my bias is towards bad bugs and the microbiome, because typically that's the real reason why people don't have good solid bowel movements. So I hope that's been helpful. If you'd like any help in starting to dig in and look at what these causes are, then please check out the links beneath the video window in terms of how we consult with people, how we're able to help you over Skype or on the phone if you can't come and see us, and hopefully we'll be able to get you back on track very quickly. In the next video, we're going to start unpacking all of this. We're going to talk about food specifically. I'll give you some really good hints and tips on which foods you can avoid and which ones you can eat that might help to just get your bowels moving a little bit. So as I say, hope it's been helpful, and I will catch you soon. Thank you.